show. Cowboys 49ers on Sunday night, led by Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey. The 49ers are the most prolific offense in the NFL when it comes to gaining yards after the catch. That could be a problem for the Cowboys defense, which has allowed the third most yards after the catch per reception since Dan Quinn took over as their defensive coordinator in 2021. Dan, what makes this 49ers offense so tough to defend?
It's a little bit different than it really was, certainly last year under Brock Purdy and certainly under Jimmy Garoppolo. We know 21 personnel, right? The 2 backs, 1 tight end. So there's Christian McCaffrey and there's Kyle Juszczyk. We've talked about that a lot on our show. And we know that oftentimes Kyle likes to shrink things down. Like everybody's inside from really the top of the numbers to that hash. The difference in my eyes when I watch this team go and play right now offensively is how much they stretch you, not only horizontally, but vertically at the same time. Like if I just took this receiver up here and I said, okay, that guy is what? At the 18-yard line, and then drew a line back all the way to where Deebo Samuel sits at like the 36-yard line. We're talking stretching this defense 50 yards almost sideline to sideline, but then also another 20+ vertically. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys that are out in that pass concept, and Deebo demands so much attention that as he flows this way and that guy flows this way, then a player like Christian McCaffrey somehow gets lost, and there's that short passing game that's a big part of their offense. But the stretch horizontally, while also vertically, is something that's a little bit different, and Brock just dumps that football off. Well, again, you'll get that 21 personnel this time. Instead of Deebo being in the backfield, he's at traditional wide receiver spot, but there's McCaffrey and there's Juszczyk. It's going to be a very similar look. There's that all the bodies condensed into the middle of the field. And then we're going to get some of that motion that we've always seen under Kyle Shanahan, a little ball fake. And this time they're going to half roll Brock Purdy. So you got flow going one way, a fake going another way. And then again, look at the stretching of the defense that is going on right now. Brock Purdy's just cutting that football loose. And again, I have a guy that's right around the 30-yard line, and I have another option past the 50-yard line. There's these 5 pass catchers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everybody is stretched so far horizontally, sideline to sideline defensively, and then now they have the ability to push the ball vertically downfield. And last time I told you Christian McCaffrey got lost. Well, this time these defenders are low to pay attention to him, and Brandon Ayuk then, as that defender gets carried, has that deep out route. So that's really a little bit different when it comes to San Francisco's offense and the evolution of it this year. Certainly 21 personnel, 2 back, 1 tight end, and all those different players at different places. But as much as they stretched you horizontally with Jimmy Garoppolo, it wasn't that much vertically. Now they're stretching you still as much horizontally while also stretching you vertically on the same play. I think that's very difficult and will be for Dallas's defense.
It reminds me of trying to babysit a lot of kids. Like I'm stretched vertically, horizontally. Just when you think you've got one, the other ran away. All right, let's dig in on the Cowboys defense. Everybody does. With our defensive guys. RC, we start with you. Where is the soft spot there this week?
Well, apparently, according to you and Dan, the San Francisco 49ers are basically a game of Twister on the offensive side of the ball. But when you look at what they do best, it's about running the football. And when we've watched the Dallas Cowboys not be themselves this year, it was because of that Arizona Cardinals run game. James Conner coming downhill, using some of the zone read with Joshua Dobbs. And you can see that physicality, especially versus the sub packages on the Dallas Cowboys defense, where they have more DBs on the field than linebackers and defensive linemen, they had difficulty holding up in the run. And then once that game got going, you saw the play action game of Joshua Dobbs and the Arizona Cardinals begin to move the football down the field. You know who runs the football better than anybody? Christian McCaffrey, the San Francisco 49ers. You know whose play action game will get after your keister better than anybody? The San Francisco 49ers and Brock Purdy. And yards after the catch, which have plagued this defense under Dan Quinn. Who does it better than the San Francisco 49ers? Nobody. And so if you think that you're going to come into this game not prepared to face up physically and stop the run and then get into the play action game, you are out of your mind. They better strap it up because it's going to be a tough night if they can't stop the run.
RC, you make a great point with the run game, and the elimination of McCaffrey is not realistic, but you have to limit him. That's the correct word to use. And Dan, that was such a good tape, bro, because what you're looking at obviously is a team that's playing in space. So in order to try to negate that, you got to understand this Dallas defense, you're going to give up some plays. But when you get into that fringe and that red area is when you really have to lock up, because then it becomes phone booth football. And also the other thing is tackling is at a premium. I know it's something that we don't talk about. We always look for these schemes and things to get offensive stop. Sometimes just getting guys on the ground and lining up with the ability to play the next play is as good a defense as you can use, because more and more you get those multiple opportunities of them running plays, Dallas can create those turnovers. They have to be great in the red zone as a defense, I believe, in order to have a chance to win this game from a defensive perspective.
Yeah, I mean, the space that Kyle creates is not only to get those easy completions, but also to get those guys who are so dynamic, the ball in their hand, and force those defenders to try to tackle in such a wide area. I think this is one of those games that, one, Brandon Ayuk and his ability to make plays downfield is a story. And two, unfortunately for Dallas, like, this could be one of those games where you do see the loss of Trayvon show itself a little bit, because you've got to have like 4 or 5 really good cover guys if you're going to try and play man versus San Francisco's offense.
Yeah, I mean, to the point, too, of trying to limit McCaffrey when it comes to the run game. He leads the 49ers in rushing yards and receptions. So you got to think about him in a variety of different ways. Great stuff. Ed, Dak just addressed the media in the last hour. What did he have to say?
Yeah, Laura, Sunday marks just the 5th time that Mike McCarthy calls the offensive plays for Dak Prescott, and the first time when the Cowboys are matched up against the elite 49ers defense. With the Cowboys having been eliminated from the playoffs by the 49ers the past 2 postseasons while scoring a total of just 29 points, Prescott's taking the matchup as a personal challenge. In fact, in the immediate aftermath of losing last January, Prescott took personal responsibility for that defeat, which proved to be the team's last game with Kellen Moore calling the plays and with Ezekiel Elliott in a Dallas uniform. And you mentioned it. Today, Prescott reiterated that his performance was substandard in both games and contributed significantly to the Cowboys failing to achieve their goals.
Go back, you turn on that tape. I wasn't my best in either of those games, and when close to it, the last one, 2-3 plays away from winning that game, and that game being a different score. So, yeah, I'm not going to get into the coaching changes and this and that. Yeah, we've got to go out there and execute the game plan that the coaches have for us, and they've got a great one as we've buttoned that up for the most part today, and we'll put some final touches on it for the rest of the week, but confidence held in what we've got.
Well, the Cowboys have yet to distinguish themselves offensively, partly because their red zone proficiency has been lacking, but also because their defense has been so dominant. The 49ers defense should be a test unlike any other for Prescott. Since the beginning of the 2021 season, including the playoffs, listen to this. The Cowboys have been held under 20 points 8 times and lost all of those games. That includes both postseason losses to the 49ers, the only opponent to hold Dallas under 20 points multiple times in that time frame. Laura, one final practice update that should be encouraging to Prescott. With Tyron Smith and Zach Martin participating in practice today, the Cowboys trending toward having their preferred starting 5 on the offensive line Sunday for the first time since drafting Tyler Smith prior to last season.
Wow, I love that. Listen, if you're a Cowboys fan, you got to feel, to Ed's point, a little bit better about that, especially since this test that 49ers defense presents. Thanks to Ed Ward.